Hey guys, thanks for tuning back in. This is the 80s Revolution, and tonight we're going to be doing part 5 of my 80s toy collection room tour. Last video, collection room tour 4, I showed you some TV shows on DVD. We're going to be going back to the toys and starting to wrap up the collection videos. My plan is to probably do 2 more. After tonight. One would sort of wrap up the general toy collection, and then the final one will focus more on the wrestling action figures and the backstory of those, or behind those. So not much going on. Couple of pickups today, couple of Blu-ray pickups. I go out every day. I have a pretty flexible schedule, and I'm usually on the road for lunch and running around at different places. So I try to hit up a pawn shop or a thrift store on a daily basis. And, sometimes the restocks aren't quick, and, I'm looking at the same titles over and over again. So today I was only able to pick up a couple. So not much to show you in the way of pickups. I will go over those quickly tonight. Some upcoming things to look forward to. The Syracuse Retro Video Game Convention is coming up November 4th and 5th. It's the first weekend in November. I will be over there staying overnight in Syracuse and going to the Retro Video Game Convention. They've done it past several years. I was there last year. Last year I picked up 18 NES games. Mainly commons. I think I spent about $80 on 18 games. So, do the math. The price is pretty good for used common NES games up there. Lots and lots of vendors, lots of things to choose from. So I'll be back up there November 5th. I believe it's a Saturday. I'll be there on Saturday. I don't know if it's November 4th or 5th, but first weekend in November, I'll be there on Saturday. If any of you people watching out there are from upstate New York and can make it up to the Syracuse Retro Video Game Convention, come check it out. And if you recognize me, I'll buy you a beer or something. Yeah, who am I kidding, right? So tonight, like I said, we're going to look at some recent pickups of today, some Blu-ray pickups, go through the room tour, and at the very end of that, I'll talk about some upcoming things that you can look forward to from me and my channel. So on to the Blu-ray pickups. Nothing spectacular, just skimming the racks at pawn shop that I like to hit up. I was able to complete my Paranormal Activity collection with the marked ones. I have not seen this. It didn't look all that appealing to me in the previews. Obviously, it's outside of the haunted house setting. It at least appears to be from the previews. I don't think this is going to be anything groundbreaking, but it does complete my Paranormal Activity collection. I do like that movie. I am a fan of that franchise, so I'll be checking that out maybe this Saturday night, which we'll talk about later on tonight. All right, so Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, completes my collection. And my favorite action character, Jason Statham. Crank 2, High Voltage, silliest concept I've ever heard, but I loved Crank 1, love Crank 2, love me some Statham. 2 quick pickups, both from same pawn shop. Crank was $5, and for some reason the marked one was $8, which I really don't want to pay at a pawn shop. $8 for a Blu-ray. Probably get it at Best Buy for $6.99, but I don't know. I was in the mood to buy something, so grabbed the marked ones for $8. So okay, let's go on. Let's check out the rest of collection. Let's get on to collection room tour 5. Okay, so we left off last time with the American Gladiators. Figures, play sets, nice little collection, easy to complete. I'm only down to needing 1 play set. So, the figures are cheap, the figures are easy. like I said in previous videos, you shouldn't pay any more than $5 or $6 for even a carded figure. No more than $10 to $15 for a play set, and the loose figures, you know, $1. All right, so moving up a shelf, it's kind of a stuffed animal or plushie shelf. I'm not biggest fan of plushies or stuffed animals, but a lot of these were my wife's, and she wanted to make a donation to the museum, the collection. So got some Rainbow Bright. I've got Gizmo from the Gremlins. Actually, there's a Gremlins 2, and he has a little Rambo headband on there, which is pretty neat. Elvin, Simon, Theodore, the Chipmunks. I believe those bears in the back, I could pull them out and tell you what they are. I guess I will. These are Furskins. I certainly remember them. I can't give you much of a background on them. Not entirely sure what Furskins were, but she had a couple, so they're in my collection now. E.T., some Care Bears, some boxed Care Bears that I picked up at a flea market a few years ago. I think the lady wanted $5 a piece for them, and I mean, these are the original 80's Care Bears, so for $5, boxed Care Bears are definitely coming home with me. I told you in some earlier videos that I was a fan of Cabbage Patch dolls. You know, again, this was to me like one of the first toys that really started a craze. When you think of toy craze, when you think of, you know, people just knocking each other down to get to their toy, Cabbage Patch doll was the first, you know, to kick off that madness. And I don't know if these were, you know, short shipped or just, you know, massively in demand, but, you know, around 83, 84, when these things hit the market, people were literally getting into fights. I mean, there were riots in stores trying to grab one of these Cabbage Patch dolls. There's some, you know, news report videos on YouTube of footage of people just, you know, piling on each other to grab the Cabbage Patch doll. So we've got a couple of dolls over here. This is a Kusa or a Kuska Cabbage Patch doll. Not sure what that is. It's kind of like a morph between the doll, you know, the child, and an animal. But, you know, kind of these weird, freakish figures or dolls. Cabbage Patch doll Kusas. There's my packaged or boxed Cabbage Patch doll over there. Grabbed that from a flea market for $10. Again, rare, or, you know, old does not necessarily mean rare, and old or rare does not necessarily mean expensive. Cabbage Patch dolls are not $75 dolls. They're not $100 dolls. I paid $10 for that one. I would pay up to maybe 30. I'd push 30, maybe 40 for a Cabbage Patch doll in the package. Couple of random little dolls down here. Was at a toy show earlier this year. Saw the talking Pee Wee Herman doll for $25. I got a guy down to $20. Definitely no 80s collection is complete without a Pee Wee Herman doll. And next to that, you might be wondering why do I have, you know, talking Michelle Tanner doll? You know, why not? I watched Full House when I was a kid. You know, TGIF. Me and my sisters would crowd around the TV and enjoy that entire night of television. And, you know, so Michelle Tanner was you know, part of, obviously, Full House. Same toy show that I got the Pee Wee Herman from. I saw this sitting on somebody's table. I walked past it a bunch of times, and as I was leaving, it was still there. And, you know, something inside of me said, you know, I must have the Michelle Tanner doll. So there it is. Proud to have it. Coming along to another board game shelf. I told you before that I like to collect, you know, not just board games, you know, general board games, but I like sort of sub-genre board games. And this is I like to collect games that I had when I was a kid. I like to collect TV show and cartoon board games, and I like to collect video game board games. So You saw some of the video game board games in an earlier video. These are my TV show or game show or cartoon board games. So we'll go through these. People's Court, which I actually did not know existed until I saw it at a Goodwill earlier this year. So the People's Court board game, Judge Wapner was a heck of a lot tougher than Judge Judy. No TV show board game collection is complete without the TV Guide board game, a trivia game, obviously TV based. Knight Rider, Who Framed Roger Rabbit board game, the Saved by the Bell board game. A game I also never knew existed. I'll get out of the glare there. A game I never knew existed until I unwrapped it at Christmas a couple of years ago. My wife is pretty good at coming through at Christmas time for with eBay gifts. You know, pretty much all my Christmases are 80's gift Christmases, and she scours eBay and finds me some good stuff. And so Family Ties board game I did not know existed, like I said, until I opened it. Another one that I wasn't sure existed or maybe had forgotten was the Miami Vice board game. I got that for Christmas a couple of years ago for my wife as well. So I'm thankful to her for keeping this, obsession of mine going. So down the line here, we've got some random TV show. This is the Real Ghostbusters color form set. It's a jumbo set. That's why it's not with the other color forms. Remote Control, the old MTV game show. Didn't start the careers, but had appearances by young Adam Sandler. Colin Quinn was on Remote Control, and I think the host's name was Ken Olin. Obviously, he didn't go as far as Adam Sandler or Colin Quinn. In fact, I think Ken Olin is dead. Not sure. Voltron board game, Care Bears, the E.T. board game, Shirt Tales, good little cartoon from the 80's. Of course, everything that had a cartoon had a board game. So there's the Shirt Tales game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Pizza Power game. And the Smurf game at the bottom there. I'll save these couple things for later. Another part of the board game shelf, Double Dare. Probably one of my top 5 all-time favorite, TV shows or game shows. I mean, Double Dare, as a kid, Double Dare was just probably one of the greatest things to watch on TV. Again, my sisters and I would crowd around the TV, and we watched Double Dare after school. It was so great to see the prizes. The obstacle course was amazing. We had, fantasies of being on the show. I think we wrote to Double Dare a couple times trying to get on the show. Just a great show. The board game, not so much. Just a big mess of crap, really, is the Double Dare board game. Jeopardy. So these are my game show board games. Jeopardy, Tic-Tac-Toe. A lot of people don't remember this game show. Very early 80's. Basically Tic-Tac-Toe with questions and answers and money. And of course they came out with a board game. Wheel of Fortune, the $25,000 pyramid featuring Dick Clark. Classic Concentration, another really fun memory. A game show for me, staying home from school and laying around the couch watching Classic Concentration on TV. We've got the Win, Lose, or Draw board game. We've got Let's Make a Deal. We've got the Family Feud game. We've got the Newlywed game and the Price is Right board game. One shelf up is not board games. It's just kind of some neat little random things that I have. Laser tag. Again, to me, no 80's collection is complete without laser tag. I just got this before I started doing videos, so there was no pickup video on it. But I went to another pawn shop, just like a random pawn shop somewhere in the city, and I was just looking around the shelves and I saw this game, and I kind of just sort of casually asked him how much the guy wanted, and he was like, oh, I don't know, $5. And I was like, okay, that's that's easy, that's coming home with me. So laser tag. There's a Snoopy snow cone machine back there, which was like every kid wanted a Snoopy snow cone machine back in the day. Just for the dream come true of making your own snow cones. So the Bernstein Bears, these guys, as far as my knowledge was concerned, up until like 6 months ago, I was aware of the Bernstein Bears through McDonald's, through the McDonald's Happy Meal collection, in the mid 80's, and I had this, this entire set as a kid. My sisters and I would, collect all the figures. We'd collect the Happy Meal boxes that were, designed after the Bernstein Bears house or the school house or something like that. And we would basically play with these guys all day and just kind of have fun with the boxes and things like that. But it wasn't until like 6 months ago, when I was at a flea market, that I saw this, the Bernstein Bears Treehouse playset, which actually came with all 4 of these figures. The playset was through Random House, which I'm pretty sure is a book company, or was a kids book company. And apparently Random House and McDonald's must have come up with some kind of a deal, because I thought that these Bernstein Bears figures were only McDonald's Happy Meal, exclusives. But apparently there was a whole Treehouse set that also came with the figures. So I'm glad to have that little piece of unknown, information in my collection. Coming up here, we've got a Popple. Again, no 80s collection is complete without a Popple. And this little guy here, kind of a random item to have, but I told you I, like to collect stuff from when I was a kid, or what I had when I was a kid, and for some reason, in 1987, I saw him in a toy catalog, and he became like one of the top items on my Christmas list that year. I have no idea why. I don't remember wanting to be a, ventriloquist. I just thought that this doll was pretty cool. And like I said, he made it to the top of my Christmas list. And of course, my loving family came through, and I got him on Christmas morning in 1987. Long gone since then, but and long forgotten too. I mean, I kind of forgot that I had this thing. Every once in a while, if I'd see an old toy catalog, I'd notice him and go, oh, I think I had that. But I was at a toy show again earlier this year and saw him just laying on a table, getting absolutely no attention, no love. And I was like, well, I had him when I was a kid. I've got to bring this guy home. He originally came with some shiny shoes, which are not included. He originally came with a monocle, which is not included, and he had a top hat, which I also don't have. But he had like $25 on him, and nobody was interested, so I ended up walking away with him for $15, and I'm glad to bring him back home where he belongs. Wrapping up this shelf, the Dinosaurs board game, short-lived. Actually, not short-lived. I think it was like 4 seasons. Back in the late 80s on ABC, another TGIF television show. The Dinosaurs board game. I actually have a loose character figure from that cartoon, or that TV show. I think that's the mom or the sister. I'm not sure. Transformers adventure game, and some random, Gummy Bears and He-Man card games. Kind of like just playing card games. All right, so that is that shelf. We're going to take a look at video games next. All right, before we get into video games, while back I started getting into, not even getting into, but I started, wanting to grab a couple of VCR games. Back in the VCR days, your board games, hang on a second. Your board games would come with a VCR tape, and you'd have, kind of like some play-along tape / live action clues or whatever the VCR tape had, you kind of incorporated that into the game. So this one is Clue, the Clue VCR mystery game. We've got a couple of wrestling games up there. That first one is a little more rare. It's the AWA All-Star Wrestling VHS game. Good stuff, good old stuff. Kind of a beat up box, but this is from about 84, I'd say. 83 maybe. I mean, look at that TV and VCR. I mean, that could be 83. A couple of other VHS games. The WWF WrestleMania VCR game. I've got a NBA VCR game. I've got an Epix VCR football game. Top Rank Boxing VCR game. I keep saying VCR, it's VHS. But Top Rank Boxing VHS game I never even knew existed. It was really cool to see at a toy show last year. Definitely had to grab that. I think it was like $10. And NHL VHS game. So now, these games all come with VHS tapes, like I've said, and it's pretty cool to go back and watch some of the footage. So you're basically watching a lot of sports footage, a lot of NBA footage, or a lot of boxing footage, or a lot of football footage from, the years that these came out. So it's pretty cool to go back and see those old sports clips. The Nintendo collection. I did mention the amount of games that I had. I have 399, actually. I know I've said 400 in the past, but I actually have 399 NES games right now. So here's just kind of a overview of the shelves. Just some more games. The shelf continues up here and up here. So nothing too rare. I think I've got like 400 commons, like 399 commons. Nothing too rare. We'll get you guys in for a little bit closer look. So like I said, a lot of commons, a lot of commons. And then I've got some, commons but pricier commons like Zelda and Metroid and Contra and, all three Marios and, a couple of Turtles games. Some of these sort of off-label games. Spiritual Warfare. One of these, not bootleg, but one of these off-label, off-brand games. I don't know. Those are, I wouldn't call expensive or rare. I mean, those are $10, $12, $15 games. I guess at this time, the priciest game that I have is Swamp Thing, which I think is going for like $70 maybe on eBay, $60, $70, sometimes less. But that's actually the priciest game I have. I have 399, and the most expensive game I have is Swamp Thing. So what does that tell you? That tells you that I've got basically a lot of expensive games to go and collect going forward. As I've mentioned, am I going to go for a complete NES collection? No. I mean, I don't really think that's possible. I'm definitely not spending, thousands of dollars on rare games. My solution to that is to grab some reproduction carts. So I have no problem with that. Things like, I forget, Poker Babes or something like that. I don't know what the game is called, but it's like a $900 game on eBay. That's never going to happen. I'll get the reproduction cart for, $40. So in addition to the NES games, I like to collect some boxes. These are empty boxes, but they are boxes nonetheless. Just different sets that the Nintendos came in, just different packaging. The challenge set that came with Super Mario 3, the action set that came with the orange gun. There's a power pad in the box down there. I've got a boxed NES cleaning kit. Just your basic control deck. Never came with a game or a gun. Just came with 2 controllers. That's your basic control deck. And at one time it was still $77.99. Box zapper. And over here, behind the rubbing alcohol, which is sitting next to a shot glass, don't worry, the boxed NES Advantage. So, love my NES collection. Love to get some boxed accessories, console boxes, you name it. All right, so that is part 5 of the collection room tour. We're going to be wrapping up the tour with part 6, which is going to be the wrestling collection. And I'll try to get that all into one part, but there's just a lot of history behind that stuff and a lot of things that I want to show you. So hopefully you've enjoyed the collection room. Like I said, we're getting ready to wrap it up, and then we're going to do some other fun stuff. For example, this coming Saturday night is going to be my first ever Saturday night movie night for you guys. We're going to pick a horror movie that I have not seen, and believe it or not, I have horror movies that I haven't seen. Probably going to watch Reanimator, or maybe the marked ones that I just got today. But we're going to talk about the movie. I'm going to introduce the movie to you. We're going to do some cooking. I'm going to show you the snacks that I'm having for my movie night. And then obviously the adult beverages that I'm having for movie night. And then I'll come back afterwards and sort of give you my thoughts on the movie, on the food, on the beverage, and on the experience overall. So thanks for enjoying, hopefully you enjoyed, but thanks for watching Collection Room Part 5. Keep checking out my channel. If you liked what you see, please leave a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. I'd love to know who's watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.